Let's do it again. You're considering investing in a business. The business is expected to cost $60,000 and require another $10,000 in immediate renovations. The business is expected to return $20,000 per year for 4 years and then $40,000 after the 5th year. The company requires a 10% rate of return. Calculate the payback for the business, the NPV for the business, and the internal rate of return. So we're going to use these 3 tools and decide if we want to invest in this. And obviously, it's the same question as before, but with one extra payment, that $40,000 at the end. So what's our profit on this? Before we do any fancy financial tools, let's check. We had that $80,000 worth of profits before, plus an extra $40,000, and we spent $70,000, giving us a profit of $50,000. I'm going to put a check mark there. Let's do that again. Let's look at our payback. Our payback isn't going to be different than we had before. Negative 70, negative 50, negative 30, negative 10, 10,000. Our payback is still 3.5 years, same as it was in our last question. So that's all we have for payback. That's okay. When I'm comparing these 2 businesses now, I have a bigger profit in this one than I did in question 1. Now let's find the net present value and internal rate of return. I'm going to go in and use the calculator. So again, I'm always going to start with cash flow and then clear. So get used to just pressing those buttons. Cash flow second, clear, to get rid of what was there in the previous question. In this case, our CFO is still negative $70,000. Our CO1, well, that's going to be that same $20,000, and I like to put the frequency next to it over here. There are 4 copies of that CO1. And then we have another cash flow. We get $40,000 when we sell the business, and we're going to see this. Usually at the end of a business, we sell off all of our equipment, all of our things, and we get a one-time boost of money. So that only happens one time, and that's it. So let's enter that, making sure that it's negative. Enter. Down, and we go CO1 is $20,000. There's a little triangle that appears once we've entered this properly, 4, and then the next one is $40,000. And that only happens once, so we're good. So let's do the NPV. Our interest rate is still going to be 10%. I'm going to scroll down a little so we can see this. So net present value, I equals 10%, because that's what was given in the question. And then I go compute net present value. And that's a positive number, $18,234.16. I'm going to put a little check mark in there. That's good. Right now, I've got a bunch of good signs. I have a positive profit. I have a reasonable payback, and I have a good net present value. And now let's go IRR, compute. And that gives us an internal rate of return of 18.73% interest. That's a pretty high interest rate. So that means that we have a pretty nice return. We're willing to invest in a business as long as they make 10%, and here we're getting 18. I'm going to make a note. When IRR is greater than MARR, net present value is positive or greater than 0. And that is an if and only if statement. Those things always travel together. I'm going to write if and only if, which means these 2 statements travel together. They are the same thing mathematically. We sometimes write an arrow that is an equal sign.